try to figure our shit out in 20 minutes. I'm Maya.
I'm Daniel.
And we are your hosts. Each episode will talk about the painful social experiment we call becoming an adult.
Ugh.
And we'll try to figure out how to navigate your early adult life. Today, we'll be talking about the struggles of trying to find a job and knowing when to quit.
Hell yeah, dude.
Sorry if I was rusty at that. Alyssa usually does it.
Yeah, we got a new main host here, and it's all right. Jobs.
Jobs.
You said you just applied for a job recently.
Yes.
Is that the first one you've applied for, by the way?
So far, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's terrifying.
No.
You graduate in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'll be graduating in May, and I'll need to find a real job. I can't just work at a sandwich shop forever.
That's not true. You just will die of poverty first.
Yeah. I just can't continue to work minimum wage.
Yeah, man. Finding jobs is hard. It's like I've been through the process once already, and like after the military, like getting a job coming in, and I was like, this is so hard to find a job. Yeah, so I went back to school instead.
No, and I think that's fair.
Yeah, it's like there's so many places to apply for a job. Everyone uses like it's Indeed or it's LinkedIn or it's Monster. And there's so many places in Google, and like how do you find where the jobs are? You know.
Yeah. No. The only reason why I'm back working at sandwiches, because I left that 2 years ago, is because I spent like 2-3 months just applying to like at least 5 jobs every single day.
Yeah.
And I think maybe 5 got back to me, and I didn't get an interview with 1.
Damn.
So I reached back out and I said, hey, are you guys hiring?
Jeez, yeah. But don't worry, old people, because we just don't want to work anymore. No one wants to work.
We're just lazy.
Yeah, we're so lazy. We're not even trying. Yeah, I remember when I was applying for jobs before I moved out here, I was like throwing it. I applied for a job just as like it was like an office job, just something to do because I needed money. And I got an interview, and the dude said that they were interviewing over 100 people for the job. They got over 1,000 applications, and they were interviewing over 100 people.
That's crazy.
I was like, okay, well, I feel bad for you, and I know automatically I didn't get this job.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even, like, I wouldn't even, so it's crazy, man. Everyone's hiring, but no one's actually hiring.
No, everyone says, like, yeah, please apply. They do nothing about it.
Yeah. And the worst is when they're like, we'll keep your application on record for, like, a future job situations. I'm like, well.
It's like, I won't need this in the future.
Yeah. My hope is to have a job before you would reach back out to me.
Yeah.
Because, So have you done, like, a professional interview yet, like, for any jobs? I know you just did that.
I haven't done like a professional one. I've done like multiple rounds of interviews before, but nothing for like forever job.
I'm always like a really bad. My wife is very good at interviews. Like she's never interviewed for a job and not gotten it, and I have. But I'm like, we're like polar opposites any other time, because like I can, once I'm in a workplace I can thrive, but like the interview,
scary.
I don't do well.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, I hate having to do that.
No, I'm so scared of interviews. I'm always nervous that when you do like the handshake, my hands are gonna be so sweaty.
Oh my god, yeah. Like I don't even have clammy hands or anything like that normally, but like I just know that I'm just gonna be drenched in sweat, like shaking and something you might have to think about is like, and I know a lot of people don't know about these, especially like I didn't know about them when I was coming out of college the first time, like group interviews. You ever done one of those?
No, what's that?
Oh man. So they bring in a batch of people, and they do an interview with everyone, and so basically they'll just like ask questions to everyone, and like everyone kind of blah 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 blah.
No.
And from there they'll like, okay, we'll pick these people to do one-on-one interviews with, like at a different date or whatever. I don't know about that, man.
I get that might be more time effective for you, but I feel like that's maybe not the best way.
It just seems like you're pitting people against each other. You like gather them in a room, you break a pool stick, and you throw it in the middle.
Who
like
wants the job?
Yeah, like that's how it feels to me. And my wife did one of those a while back. a couple of years ago, and I was like, I don't know that I would survive that.
No, I don't think I do well.
If they told me it was a group interview, I probably just wouldn't show up.
Oh, sorry, something else came up.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they didn't tell her it was a group interview either.
She just
showed up, and there were people there. So.
Oh, that's horrible.
So if you get interviews, just is this a group? Maybe ask or something.
Just like,
I don't know.
Will this be like a one-on-one or will it be groups?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't think I would do well at all with a group interview. So we were speaking earlier about forever jobs. And we were talking earlier, like a few days ago, about how our parents and like our grandparents, they would stay at a job for 40 years. Like that, they found their job. And you were talking about how that like culture is changing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think my father-in-law kind of hires people for his job, for people under him, and he was complaining that like people would come in and they were like 30 years old and they've already worked 5 different places or something like that, and he was complaining about that, and I was like, that's everyone, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know what you are expecting, because like that like I've been at this company and I'll stay loyal forever, it's gone.
No.
Because we know that the companies aren't loyal to us. They'll replace us like that. They don't care. It's about money for them. So we are going to find a place that we fit best, which means you got to hop around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I think the whole thing is like our parents, our grandparents, like all of them, they were like, this company cares about me. And that's just not true. Because maybe it was for you guys. Maybe they did care about you. But
I think they did a great job of pretending they did.
Making you feel like they cared.
It was also, I mean, a different economy then, where like you could stay at a place that was taking advantage of you, because even if you weren't making a lot of money, it was still enough to live on.
They're still fine.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore. There's almost no single job that's like, you can live on this, salary, entry level, like, I don't know, like, obviously there's tech jobs and stuff like that where you can make tons of money, but like a lot of just entry level jobs are like, I can't do this forever. I need to promote. I need to move up. Yeah,
later.
Exactly. So I think that culture is gone, and I'm glad for it.
We haven't talked about yet bad bosses. Have you had some experiences with bad bosses?
I actually quit a job last semester because I had a bad boss, and I'm not a person that takes shit from anybody.
Yeah.
And I'm hot-headed, so like when I don't take shit from people, I mean, I give it. Like, I'm gonna come at you, because if you're being an asshole, I'm gonna tell you, and you're not gonna like how I tell you.
Yeah.
And this was a job on school. It was like on campus for a campus like entity, and so I was like, I have to quit, or I have to fucking, me and this guy are about to go at it.
Yeah.
And so like it was giving me like anxiety. Like I had a like anxiety attack in San Francisco because of this job. Like it was nuts, because I knew that I couldn't react the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
And he was just treating me like how old people treat high school people, that like they're just like, it's like their first job, and you just need to be strict and show them how it goes. And then he would accuse me of things that he would accuse me of breaking things or losing things or like messing things up that I had nothing to do with. And then when I showed him that I didn't do it, and that most of the time it was something he did wrong, he wouldn't apologize. He wouldn't say anything. He would just like, he was a piece of shit. And he would literally yell at his employees during the like things that we were having, like the live broadcasting shit that we were having to do. And I was like, yell at me one time during these because I'll walk out and you need me, buddy. Yeah, I'll walk out. I'm not a dog. I'm not some animal you see on the street. You won't yell at me. I'm a grown adult.
I can and will leave.
Oh yeah, and you can and will suffer when that happens.
I will tell people.
Who, buddy? I've never met a person that was so blatantly disrespectful to people and got away with it.
That's crazy.
Because, man, and some people would just laugh it off and be like, "That's Mike," and I'm like,
"No,
Mike gonna get decked."
like I hate Mike. This is not Mike.
So
it's not a funny quirk of his.
So I think we allow people like that to exist in positions of power too much. And their old school way of doing things is it's clashing with the youth of, like the young culture now. Like more and more I think people are going to be, and I feel like in retrospect I should have said something to him directly, but again, I'm a hothead and I know that, so I did not want to get into it.
Didn't want to jeopardize anything.
Yeah, because I might need to use that as not a reference, but like,
you could
somebody will have
employer.
to call them at some point if they want to like check up, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
want anybody to have anything negative to say about me.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I feel like, you know, that was the most adult thing I've ever done.
Yeah, no, that's very professional.
'Cause man, I like right now I'm like
you're already
just
thinking
about him. I'm like, oh,
Mike.
I'm gonna kill him.
Well, speaking of that, a good lesson from like bad bosses and like having that type of environment is knowing when to quit. Yeah.
I don't know when to quit, man. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
That's I mean, I had an anxiety attack. That's the only reason I quit, because I realized that it was like getting to me, and so like I don't know, man. I feel like don't just quit willy nilly, obviously, because you need a job, but if
the environment just isn't working, and if you're like super stressed out, like you like we're freaking out in San Francisco, and like we're not even in San Francisco,
right? I was on vacation. I had gotten this was after a baseball game, like this was, and I was dealing with this, so like that's yeah, so obviously there's like circumstances where it's like maybe now is a good time, but do try to have something else lined up. Have you ever heard of quiet quitting? I have. That's my favorite thing that that like young people have started doing. Like, fuck yeah, just don't do anything. Slowly stop doing your job. Yeah. I think that's a perfect way to quit too. Just because you should always like, if you know you're like, this place isn't for you forever, immediately start looking for jobs. Yeah. And like, you don't have to leave immediately, but like start looking for what's out there and start prepping yourself to get the jobs you want next. You know what I mean? While you're at the job that you hate, look for jobs that you could love. Exactly. And quiet quit a lot. Just lots of quiet quitting all around, I think sends a good message to these asshole bosses. What do you think of the people who are like, because like it's like customary to give like 2 weeks, like whenever you quit, but some people are like, they just quit on the spot, because like their mentality is like, if you were to fire me, you wouldn't give me a 2 weeks notice, you'd just send me out. Yeah. What are your thoughts on just like quitting on the spot and not like, and just like walking out and not giving 2 weeks? Everything is very circumstantial, obviously. It depends on your situation, but I don't necessarily feel like, unless a company or an organization or whatever has been like, has wronged me, then I don't feel like you necessarily should just like dip. Yeah. Like, no notice, whatever, hey, I'm out. But you have to do what's best for you. And like you said, that company, I mean, even if they let you go, it's usually like, here is your severance, or here's your whatever, you're done. Like, that's, you know, and even if you get like they don't want to give you any extra time there, so like why should you? Yeah. So I get that mentality. I get the mentality, but and like there are a bunch of like different like circumstances, and it's like, if this job has been like truly like horrible, like sure, I get it, you leave. Yeah. But I don't know, in my mind, like, yeah, I get the mentality, and that would be nice to do, but also I need to put them on my resume that I worked here, and if you're gonna call them, you're gonna like, and this is what I told Alyssa, like, if you're gonna leave a place, leave it the right way. Yeah. So unless it's a situation where it's like, I don't know, there's discrimination, or like they're just straight up assholes, like, I get it, leave. But like, leave a place the right way, so that even if it wasn't the best job in the world, when your next employer calls them, they can be like, yeah, they didn't really give us any problems, they let us know, blah blah blah, you know. Yeah. Never give a company a reason to shit on you. Bad companies and bad employers and bad bosses will find one, and there's nothing you can do about that. But don't ever give them a reason. Yeah, that's really good advice. Yeah. You have to do what's best for you, the same way that your employer has to do what's best for them. So like, if the roles were reversed, the company would do what was best for them. Yeah. If it was firing you, like you said, they would fire you. So if it came down to it, you need to leave, you need to leave. Yeah. Yeah. Period. That was all I had
written down. Did you have?
Have you ever been fired?
I have been fired.
Let's hear it.
So it was my last job before here. It was also used as my internship. And so I worked it from May to December. And I was doing the work for the internship. We have to do side work for our internship advisor. And so I was doing some of those assignments, and it was all.
Oh, I think I remember you telling me about this.
Yes. I don't know. I think it was stupid, and I don't think it should have happened, because okay, I'll lay it out for you guys. So for one of the assignments, we had to submit a mid-semester review, and I did that because I had meetings with my boss every single week, and I was like, oh, that counts as a review. I'll just talk about that. That was in October. December comes around, and I get a call, and it's like, you lied about this review. And I said, I didn't have a specific meeting set up, but everything we talked about, I wrote they're happy with my work, they like my ideas, whatever. That was true. They were liking. That's what I was told in our weekly meetings. In December, that wasn't the case. They didn't really like me anymore. But that they were gonna keep me on at least to the end of December so I could get it count for my internship, to my understanding.
Yeah.
And I get called in. It's December 5th. And they're like, Maya, we notice a severe decline in your quality of work. That's not true. Severe was excessive. And you lied to Claudia, so for that, we're going to have to let you go. Excuse me.
I agree with you. I don't think that because that they didn't know, hey, this is my mid-semester review or whatever, you had weekly meetings and you summarized what the feedback they were giving you, and there was and I know the assignment was to get that feedback. And I mean, I understand talking to you and being like, hey, maybe we should have done it this way.
Yeah,
so
of course,
for next time, because it's an internship.
Yeah,
dude.
I understand. Okay, yeah, maybe I did that wrong. I get that. I feel like we jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even, to my boss, I didn't get to explain that to her. Because I think in her mind, I already wasn't performing to the level that she expected of me. And this, I think, was just insult to injury, so she just didn't even want me anymore.
Yeah.
And so, I can understand that. But also, I just had to make it to, December 20th for the internship to count. And so then I had to meet with Claudia. And I had to meet with the dean of the journalism school.
Oh, God.
And Claudia was like, Maya, I just want you to understand how serious this is. If Dr. Yoon thinks that finds it worthy enough, this could lead to expulsion. And I said, are you?
Okay, so this is number one, that is what an internship is. It's a way for you to learn how to be professional.
Yeah.
And sometimes that includes how to fuck up professionally. And for them to not use that as a learning moment, to me, shows more about the company than it does about how you handled the semester review thing.
Yeah.
Because if I'm working with a college student as an employer, I'm going to understand there's a gap between their expectations and mine. So first of all, getting everyone on the same page from the jump is important, but you have to use every opportunity as a learning moment. And to me, it doesn't seem what you did was blatantly
they said I plagiarized, and it was a breach, not plagiarized, but they said it was a breach of ethics. And because they're like, Maya, you took media ethics with Caesar. And so it was you knew what you did was wrong. And it's I didn't, frankly. I thought it was okay.
And that's the thing. That's the learning moment. And it shouldn't have been you learning that under a review by the dean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That seems I don't know. A lot of times people are so, they're so reactive in instead of processing how do we handle this, they're lay the hammer. We can't do this. This is unacceptable. And it's okay for something to be unacceptable and just have a conversation about it. You know what I mean?
Sure, I get it now. I was yeah, I should have just scheduled the meeting.
Yeah.
That's fine. But
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've never been like fired, but I've been one time I got moved. I had to hand over a project I was doing because I wasn't getting it done fast enough. But it was my fault.
Yeah.
But that was how it was handled. Was we had a conversation about what I was doing wrong. We talked about how we wanted it to move forward, and the best way was for me to hand off the project because it was too much for me to handle like on my own or whatever.
Sure.
And so it's not something you know in the beginning, but as you're going, you're like, fuck, I'm falling behind.
This is a lot.
And so like this wasn't when I was in the military, and so my boss was like, let's just have you transition what you've done to the next person and have them, because I was also leaving in like a couple of months too, so like it wasn't like fired, but it was like, we understand you can't do this, so let's let someone who can do it.
Yeah, let's slowly transition you out.
Yeah, and see, that's a conversation instead of just yeah, they didn't try and I don't know remove me from the military.
Yeah, they said get out.
Yeah, dude. Which is crazy because the military is very like, they're the same way, that like a lot of times they're like, nope, you did wrong, hammer, so.
Yeah. No, I can't imagine there.
Dude, yeah. Oh, I got this is a little tangent, but I got as a 28-year-old in Korea, I got a curfew violation, which meant that they had to escort me back to base and then put handcuffs on me and take me to military jail on base. And then I had to sit there until my supervisor and my they call them the first shirt, but it's like the people who deal with like negative things that happen in a unit. And so they had to come and get me and like release me that way. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, they fingerprinted me, they like swabbed me and shit like that because I was okay. This is the funny part, dude. The curfew was 1 a.m. So like you cannot be outside of your house at 1 a.m. And I mean like you can't be on your balcony of your apartment at 1 a.m. You have to be inside. It was 1 a.m. I was about 100 yards from my apartment building, from my front door.
Yeah.
I timed it after like the next day from exactly where they stopped me to getting inside my apartment, less than 1 minute.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I told this to my unit commander, who like, he did not want me to be there, and he didn't think that I should be there. Yeah. But it was like it was like a law kind of thing, and like I did wrong. Yeah. I did technically was not outside in my house at 1 a.m. So like he had to do something. So he did the least amount he could do, but it's just like people react too much.
That's
and they
crazy.
Yeah, man. So we're cutting all this. We got to get hired, you know?
Maybe I shouldn't talk about this.
No,
we
that's
have to
fine,
leave out
dude.
that whole segment.
Guys, if you have a podcast out there that you're wanting to start, or maybe you've already started one and you just need a better spot to do it, here at the National Automobile Museum, they have a full-fledged podcast studio. We have lighting, cameras, recording equipment, everything from video, audio only, if you want that as well. And they will top to bottom produce it. They'll edit it for you, stuff like that. So if you have anything like that you want to do, hit up the nationalautomobilemuseum.org and just run it, dude.
Run it. All right. Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
We'll see you next time.